I want to show you some live pictures coming into us courtesy of WAPT in Jackson, Mississippi. One of their copters is an ABC affiliate. We're all sharing footage during this disaster. They are shooting video of, you see it right there, Coast Guard rescuing people off of rooftops. This is happening live right now in New Orleans, Louisiana. As you've been watching this go on for the past 20 minutes or so, as we all been talking about, the levee system in Louisiana and New Orleans was breached. It was believed earlier that perhaps parts of the French Quarter would be spared this, but those levees, which were put in place after Hurricane Camille to make sure the city would not be flooded, unfortunately, the strength of Katrina, which came on as a Category 4 storm, proved to be too much for the levees. And as you can see, so many people have had to climb to their rooftops. You've been hearing our reporters say that is the only way that many people have survived the wrath of Hurricane Katrina.
Yes, I've been checking some of the websites. There are some estimates that as many as 300 people made phone calls in Mississippi, double that number in Louisiana. And you can just imagine, remember that Katrina first made landfall about 6:30 yesterday morning, continued throughout the day. So this is someone who has been on that rooftop for how many hours, and in the middle of the night, not knowing what's going on with the water, the absolute terror, no electricity, probably completely pitch dark out there, rising waters, you're on a rooftop. I can't even imagine what a horrifying experience it has been for the woman that you see there now being rescued over the last 12 hours or so.
So much of this, of course, is because New Orleans, as you've heard it said time and time again, but it bears reiteration, that New Orleans is like 6 feet underwater, sea level. It is a bowl-shaped city, and the particular levee which was compromised is the 17th Street Canal, and it's right by Lake Pontchartrain. We've heard us talk about that so much. That's on one side. You've got the Mississippi River on the other side, and these water levels in the Lake Pontchartrain and the connecting 17th Street Canal, normally 6 feet higher than the surrounding city, and these levees have been breached.
And what we heard earlier from a former head of the Corps of Army Engineers, the general said to us, it's very possible, too, that the longer that there's standing water, it's very difficult to predict whether or not another one of these levees could give way. So what they're doing is they have these 3,000-pound sandbags. The first thing they have to do is fill these breaches in these levees to stop this flow of water that's coming in, and then they can start pumping the water out, and then they have to get in there and start the repairs. And you can see how windy it is there. These people are very carefully making their way across the roof, sort of scooching across, and you see the folks from the Coast Guard there. These are obviously people who are putting their own lives at risk. The helicopter pilots, the people who are getting out and going on the roofs, they're very well trained. We had spoken to some people after Katrina hit Florida from the Coast Guard, and they said, well, this is what we do, and we're very well trained for it, but we never forget the kind of risk that these folks are taking to save other lives.
And you have to remember, I spoke to Mike Brown, a FEMA, on Sunday morning, and he said that actually after the storm hits is when so many of the lives are lost, and there are so many injuries, largely because of things you see like here. Perhaps those are power lines we see, so very close to the water. You don't know what's in the water, the debris that's under the water, the wind that Chris was just mentioning. Parts of roofs, parts of homes, structures that have come loose and could damage and could be blown through the air at any time. Once again, you're looking at live pictures. This is happening in New Orleans right now, courtesy of WAPT TV. They are coming out of Jackson, Mississippi. We're all sharing footage at this time. Coast Guard doing a rescue operation in New Orleans. The entire family is on that roof right now. You're seeing a close-up right now of what looks to be a young woman who is being airlifted into a helicopter. Coast Guard also dropping, expected to be about 3,000 sandbags to try to help those levees. One of them was breached, 200-foot breach in these levees, which is why New Orleans has been flooded, which was always the concern when Katrina hit the city.